Hello, Kansas Kitty, and I welcome you back to my journey. I had the RNY gastric bypass surgery on June 25th, 2018, so this marks my 15-week post-op update. I started off my journey at a high weight of 238 pounds. I'm 38 years old, I'm 5'6", and today I'm 180. So that means I've lost 2 pounds in the last week. Woohoo! So a couple of fun things. My rings, I wear just 2 rings usually. I've moved them onto my middle fingers now, and they are getting a looser, especially on a cold day. They're like super loose. So I might have to buy myself some new rings, which these are really special and mean a lot to me. One is from my sister and one is from my mother from many, many years ago. But I did actually go ahead and buy myself just a fun little ring. It's just a cheapie off Amazon. I think it's coming from China because it won't be here till like December. But it is, I like gold. And it's gold, fake gold. And it's actually a thumb ring. And it's called a bypass ring. So it's like these 2 pieces that come together, and I think it's just going to be a fun little reminder to look down at and think about my journey. My skin is feeling really soft lately. I'm sure it's probably just the little flub and, you know, just like some of the excess skin or whatever, but it's just feeling really, really soft as I'm losing the weight. And also I'm noticing when I get out of the shower, I'm able to wrap my towel quite a ways around me, and I can see kind of my shape in the mirror, and so that's kind of fun. I do have some back rolls, and I'm sure I will always have them there with like excess skin, but they are becoming a lot less noticeable and just diminishing down a little. So just a few fun things. I'm getting a lot of compliments at work lately, and sometimes they feel, you know, great, but I just don't like a ton of, you know, attention right on me, especially when like more and more people start joining in. And on Tuesday this week, I had some kind of like heel fun toms, like peep toe toms on, booties, and then I had some like skinny jeans, and I think I just had a little bit more height, which gave me that more slender look. And I had a couple gals in my office, they were like, oh my gosh, you look so skinny. And I was like, thank you. And they know I've been, you know, working on my health and fitness and everything, and I just stated out loud, I'm like, you know, I'm 50, at that point I was 56 pounds down. I'm like, I've got 44 to go. And it was real important for me to state my goals out loud, because I never want to be like, I don't want people to be later on down the road to be like, you're getting so skinny, you know, maybe you should stop, or stop losing any weight, or, you know, I don't want people to make any kind of negative comments down the road, and just to know upfront my goals. And so some of them are like, you know, what are you doing? And I did have this one gal, this was actually like 2 weeks ago, and she was like, she stopped me in the office and she was like, hey, I just wanted to tell you, you look really good. She's like, did you do something with your hair? And I don't work with her really closely, and so it was kind of funny because I was like, no, I said, but I have lost like 50 some pounds. And she was like, oh my gosh, you did? She's like, I knew something was different. She's like, you look great. And she's like, what are you doing? And so I have not shared with anyone except one close friend at work that I've had the weight loss surgery. And so I just kind of keep it as, you know, like, I'm eating 5 meals a day. They're really small. I'm focusing on protein. I have no sugar. I have no alcohol. I have no caffeine in my diet. And as I was kind of telling her this, my friend that does know about it, she walked by and she was like, and she's running. She's running a lot. So it was good for her to kind of chime in and help me out with the conversation. So it is nice to get those compliments from people that people are noticing. My monthly cycle, so has been a little out of whack. So your fat store your hormones, and with weight loss surgery, my cycle's just been out of tune. I'm usually like a 28, 30-day cycle person, and this last month it took 45 days between cycles, so a lot later than usual. I did have the ablation surgery a few years back, and that's where they go in, usually typically after you're done having children, they will go in and they will burn with hot water your lining of your uterus, and it then there's less shedding, and so you have, some people are so fortunate that they have no more periods. And I had such a heavy period before, and TMI, I know, but for you women out there, I mean, it could last up to 2 weeks sometimes, and now I have like a 2-day period, and it's so light that I don't even have to wear a tampon. So it's amazing. It's been wonderful in my life to have that done. But after weight loss surgery and my body's still trying to figure out what the hell is going on here, this one lasted probably 4 or 5 days, and I did have some bad cramping, which I don't usually have cramping. So that was kind of interesting that it is a little different. And again, it's like, I mean, a spot, like nothing. There's nothing there really, but it just lingered a little longer. That's okay. My body will figure it all out. Food for the past week. So I did have, on Monday, Tuesday, I had 2 full days of meetings outside of my office with my team. It's just 4 of us, and I was in charge of ordering the food. The first day we had this great like local place that I ordered the food from. I had ordered some soup, and I noticed that every time I have soup from a restaurant, it is so flavorful. Like the flavors are just intoxicating. Like they are so good. My taste buds are so alive, and it's so spicy to me. So I'd ordered some soup, and then I also ordered some salmon, which I knew I wasn't going to have unless I felt like the soup didn't have enough protein in it. Then I thought I'd nibble on it a little bit, but I just saved the salmon. I was going to have it for like throughout the week for some of my other meals. So then the second day we had, we just ordered Jimmy John's. And I got an unwich, and I had some avocado spread on it, and some turkey, and some provolone cheese, and I had to be really intuitive with my eating because I didn't have my scale with me, and it came in like, those unwiches, there's so much lettuce there, so I focused mostly on, you know, like the meat and the cheese and the avocado, and had some lettuce with it, and I just had to be really careful and just listen to my body and say, okay, I think that's about 4 ounces, I think you're, you know, getting full. And then I got to a point where I'm like, yes, I am so full. But the interesting thing was watching my colleagues, who they're just like 3 regular girls, watching them eat like their big Jimmy John's subs and their chips and their cookie, and just like eating and eating. And we probably took like a long time to have our lunch because we were talking and meeting during it. But it was interesting, just like when I was done, to watch them continue to eat. And in my mind I kept thinking, how, like, I know that was me. That was me back then. How do they have so much room in their tummy? Well, I mean, we know the answer to that, but I just was like, I could never eat like that again. Like, I just couldn't believe how much, you know, they were putting in, but that's normal for their size tummy. So that was kind of eye-opening and interesting. I did have one day this week on Wednesday where it scared me a little. So I had some lunch. I usually have my lunch later in the day, and I go downstairs into our kitchen area, and usually there's nobody there. And so I had some refried beans, I had some ground turkey. It was like a little Mexican bowl I made with some fat-free sour cream and some goat cheese. I love goat cheese. And I ate that, and I still felt hungry. And so I had a little bit of the salmon, you know, like a little chunk of the salmon that I had left over from Monday. And I was like, okay, feel good, feel satisfied. Went back upstairs to work, and then it was like, I went downstairs to have my protein shake later, and I had just purchased for our team these Blue Diamond almonds, with pink Himalayan salt on it, and they looked so good. And I was like, okay, let me just have one. So I had one. I was like, oh, that's good. Had 2. Had another one. And I was like, let me take a little handful. And I was like, okay, I just not gonna have my protein shake. I'll just have these almonds. And I didn't like the feeling that came over me. It was an old feeling that I've had in the past before surgery, and I just felt out of control because I was sitting here eating these, almonds. I hadn't counted out how much, a serving was. And that like out of control, scary feeling came over me. And I looked at what I had left in my hand and I just threw it in the trash. And I was like, okay, I don't know how many I had. I think I probably only had a fourth a cup. Hopefully that's all. But I had to like step away, step out of that situation and just be like, you need to plan your snacks, girl, okay? You need to plan your meals and plan your snacks because you don't want to get caught up in that like out of control binge kind of behavior that you've had, in the past. So I went home that evening. I had my planned dinner, weighed it out, and everything was good to go. But that feeling was a little scary. I did run 6 miles that morning. I ran 6 miles the day before. I'm sure my body needs, more. And so it was okay to have that. My surgeon did tell me a couple weeks ago when I went that I can have up when I make it up to a cup. So I'm still at like a half a cup, maybe a little bit more, or 4 ounces right now per meal. And my surgeon said once I've reached a cup, which is going to be my max, 1 cup per meal, then that's when I'm going to switch to 3 meals a day plus 1 snack. So right now I'm at 5 meals a day, and those are my snacks. I just, every single, everything's about the same size. So just something, down the road when I work towards that. I am going to try to stick to my amount still for now, and as long as I'm feeling happy and satisfied and my body's functioning well, then I'm still going to kind of stick to my little measurement rules for now. I did have an issue of clumping again. So yesterday I had some of that salmon again, that salmon that I had from Monday. So here I'm eating like leftover food from 5 days, and the salmon was drier. It was not as soft and fresh as it was, at the beginning of the week. And there were some vegetables with it, some Brussels sprouts and some cooked spinach and stuff. And I was eating it probably a little too fast. And I think the key part was though, is that the salmon was older and it got stuck. Oh, it got stuck. And oh my gosh, that stuck feeling. So this is not dumping. I have never ever dumped yet. This is clumping. This is when it gets stuck. And it is such an uncomfortable feeling. And this one probably lasted the longest yet and was the worst yet. It lasted for about 45 minutes, and it comes in waves. So you're like, okay, I'm okay. And then all of a sudden it like picks up again, and you can't breathe, and it's just stuck, and it's just like, oh, it's just so awful. And so I got the foamies. So my mouth was starting to salivate, and fortunately there wasn't anybody downstairs in the kitchen area, and I ran over the sink because I started feeling like, oh my gosh, I think something's about to come up, and spit came out. It was so weird. So it's not like when you're throwing up, like when you're sick. Like, I think it's because the bypass area of the stomach is where all the acid and stuff is. And so it was literally no food came up, no acid, no like bad like taste kind of anything. It was just spit, but it was like a big honking like bunch of spit, and it just like poured out. I was like, fortunately I was like leaned over the sink and was able to like just like get it in there. But it was just like a whole bunch of like clear spit came out. So it didn't lessen the feeling. It just like I couldn't control, like it just came up. And so then eventually it went away, and it sucks. Ugh, it's awful. I hate it. It's probably happened less than 5 times, but I think that was probably my 3rd or 4th time experiencing that. So I just gotta slow down and chew my food and eat fresh. Try to keep it fresh. Maybe leftovers just from a couple days or so. Yeah. So anyway, I did sign up for a couple fun activities. The first one, we're holding a diet bet at work, and so probably you're familiar with diet bet. It's where you put money in, and you're like competing against, a group of people. So this is just like some of my coworkers, but you're really just competing against yourself. So I waged $40 to lose 4% of my body weight in the next month. Which I think is totally doable. So I need to lose a total of like 7.4 pounds, and you cannot lose any more than 12%, which that's like 22 plus pounds. I'm not going to lose that. But every time we hold these diet bet things at work, I always sign up, and I do great at the beginning, and then I fall off in the end, and I always lose my money, my $40. I've lost $40 so many times. So this time around, I think I'm gonna be able to make it. And I didn't cheat, but I did weigh myself at nighttime for my first initial weigh-in, and so I was up, after like a full day of like eating and drinking and keeping hydrated and stuff. So I did my weight was a little up with that, so it's going to make it a little bit easier, but I'm going to make it. I know I'm going to make it. And then actually before I mention the other thing that I signed up, I did want to mention back when I was talking about my monthly cycle, I used to get headaches a lot during my monthly cycle, and I think I'm onto something here, that after weight loss surgery, I have not had a single headache in 15 weeks. A single headache. And I, was really thinking about that, and I was like, why? Like, this is awesome. This is amazing. And I think there's quite a few things that factor into that. Is no sugar, no alcohol, no caffeine, and I'm keeping really, really hydrated. So tell me, have you guys had headaches? For those of you that have had weight loss surgery, comment down below and let me know about that. It's been great, headache free. And so back to signups, the last thing that I signed up for, I did go ahead and officially sign up for the Kansas City Half Marathon. Woohoo! So 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today is the Kansas City Half Marathon. I'm really proud of myself. I have stuck to my schedule. I put together a schedule and I've stuck to it. And I've been super disciplined in my running every single day, rain or shine. Today, it was raining through my entire run, and it is raining in Kansas City all weekend long. And my brother and I, we were texting last night, and he's like, I'm going to get my long run in tonight. He's like, I'm going to run from 8 to 11 p.m. I was like, oh my gosh, you are? Why? What? And I hadn't even looked at the radar. And he's like, it's going to be raining all weekend long. And as I looked at the radar, it was showing like thundering and lightning. I was like, oh no. Oh no. What am I going to do? Because I will run in every condition. I will run in the sun. I will run in the heat. I will run in the cold. I will run in the snow. I will run in the rain. I will not run in lightning. So I was really, really worried. And as I had trouble sleeping last night. And as I was sleeping, I kept waking up and trying to listen to see if it was thundering and lightning out. And finally I was like, done. Stop this nonsense. Like, just get out there quickly before it gets crazy. So I got out there at like 4:20 was my start time this morning, and I ran and I got my 12 miles in, and it rained the entire time. And the worst part are the puddles. Man, when you hit a puddle that you're not expecting, your foot's just soaked and you're already wet, so you just keep on going and trudging along. I was rocking out to like 80s pop music. It was great. And the best thing was I was done before 7 a.m. I had 12 miles in before 7 a.m. and I got my car and I was driving back because I drove to my start location, and I was driving back home, and as soon as I pulled up into my neighborhood, lightning. I was like, what? I was like, thank you, Jesus. I had finished 12 miles in the rain with no lightning, and when I was done, it came in. So I was really, really excited about that. So anyway, yeah, I'm doing the half marathon in 2 weeks. Woohoo! No time goals for that. Actually, I do have a small time goal. I want to finish in 2 hours and 59 minutes and 59 seconds. As long as I'm under that 3-hour mark, I'm good. I'll be happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Bye.